far as their taste goes, the taste, they like sour, but they also like bitter tasting foods. And I say that because of the fruit sometimes, and especially mangoes. Mangoes are there's tons of mangoes there, and I can get to the mangoes, but usually they would get, when the mangoes are early in season, when they're still green, they're, you know, fairly small, and they're just green, and they'd pick these mangoes and slice them in half, remove the seed, and you just eat them. They'd eat them usually with salt or with this chile sauce, and maybe sometimes with lime. And when I first saw that, I was weirded out, you know, because why would you want to eat, you know, some green fruit that normally, when it's ripe, it tastes, you know, really sweet and delicious. And so I tried some, and I guess I have the same, you know, like tastes as the people from El Salvador. I really like, you know, sour, sometimes bitter foods, and it's very good. Just this green mango, and you just eat it with salt or with just this chili sauce, and I would get that all the time because it tasted so good. I was very surprised, and I would get that a lot. That would be one of my favorite things, would be green mangoes, because you'd have to wait, you know, for the season for green mangoes, and then they'd be everywhere. Everyone would be you'd be able to buy, you know, a bag for 25 cents and have it. And so that was one thing that was really delicious, was the green mangoes with the lime. Those were delicious. And talking about mangoes, you know, they also were very delicious ripe, of course. And usually in El Salvador, you know, being a Central America, a pretty tropical climate, there would be many different types of fruits. Some that I've heard of and some that I hadn't. And of course, the most common one would be mangoes. And the thing about the fruit trees there is that they just grow like randomly. I mean, you throw a seed off on the side of the road and a mango tree will grow, which was very cool, because sometimes there'd be so many mangoes that they would fall from the trees and no one would pick them up because there'd be so many, and they just kind of like sit. So like you definitely knew that you were coming up to a mango tree if you just saw like all these mangoes on the ground everywhere, and some of them were, you know, rotting and stuff, so it was kind of gross, but just mangoes everywhere. And that was one fun thing, you know, as missionaries, like if you were kind of off where no one was really selling anything or something like that, you'd just be like, I want a mango. So you'd get a rock and toss it, and, you know, have some mangoes fall, and you can peel it and chow down on a delicious mango. And they had different types. Some of them, they had some mangoes that were bigger, and the bigger ones, they were less sweet usually. They were still pretty sweet, but they were a little bit, I would say, more, I don't know if bitter is the right word, but they were just, I guess, less sweet. And you could definitely eat those. And some of them, and then they had smaller ones, which were maybe about this big, and and they were very sweet. And then there were some in between. So you could definitely, like, there was a different variety. I had no idea there were different types of mangoes. So that was definitely something that was cool, is that the different types of mangoes that you could eat and enjoy, like lots of mangoes all the time. Sometimes you had to check for worms, like, you know, you just bite in it and just see, like, maybe if there were worms, maybe if there weren't. Usually there weren't. You know, every once in a while you get lucky and have a worm, so some extra protein, I guess. And that was one big fruit